my Saturday book musings. I want to bring them back, and it has been the hardest year of my life. Just when I think I'm gonna get things figured out with my chronic illness, the more I learn about it, the less I feel like I know about it. I've currently entered the poking and prodding phase again of this, and just finding out there are actual kind of physiological issues that I just never had kind of the precise test that I needed to figure it out. And so now there's more kind of tests and poking and prodding, and then we wait and see how that does, and then we'll reevaluate once we wait and see for a while. So it's quite the season of life to be in. And so I was just in a really dark place a lot of this summer and early autumn. But I'm going to speak more about that at the end of the video because I am going to talk a lot about kind of my faith, and I know that is not everyone's cup of tea. So I'll save it for the end if you kind of wanted to hear, I don't know, more details about that. I am hopeful that at some point I will have a lot higher quality of life. I don't know that I'll ever be able to say, I'm fully better, but I am hopeful that some helpful measures will eventually, be taken. But it was really frustrating because the day before Victober Eve, I had a procedure that was supposed to help with one thing, and then it made my chronic pain in another area that was seemingly unrelated excruciating. And the first day of October, I could not believe how much pain I was in. So without a doubt, this was my least favorite Victober ever. And I just really had my hopes up for that procedure, and it did not at all live up to my hopes. I still think good things in the long run are going to come from it. But Victober, it was not great. It was my worst Victober ever, and that is okay. So I did, my first update, I can't believe that even with being in that much pain, then, that was my worst pain day, the first day of October, and then still a lot of pain, but somehow I managed to finish Middlemarch and start those other audiobooks. And then I felt like the little engine that could, except I was the little engine that couldn't. Like, I was trying to distract myself from all my chronic pain, like scooch up the hill with these audiobooks, and then I just slowed down, and then just started zooming backwards. And eventually it was like my brain was like, Kate, I let you reread Middlemarch. I let you reread The Return of the Native, which I completely forgot to speak about in my Victober update video that I did like 10 days into Victober. And I had so much fun rereading The Return of the Native. Good grief. That book is luminous. It is beautiful. And there's not necessarily a ton of characters in it that I relate to, but I still feel invested in the story. And honestly, I think the ending is really poetic. Like, I liked the ending even more this time around. I disliked Eustacia even more this time around. I think she is one of the most self-absorbed characters. Just whatever I want, I should have purely because I want it. That's that really boiled down. That's how Eustacia feels to me. But it's just an amazing book, and I just love getting swept away by Hardy's world. And I did do the Alan Rickman narration. I did, what was I going to say? Oh, I did have my husband read aloud to me Parables of the Cross by Lilias Trotter. And then I finally watched the documentary about her, Many Beautiful Things. I cried so much while watching this documentary, not necessarily because of sad things that were in it. There were some sad things that happened in her life, but because it was so beautiful. I could not handle how beautiful this documentary was. They had an artist who spent, I think, 2 years working on this project, and he took pieces of her art and then like painted backdrops for them to be on, and then the documentary, like, it would pan over the backdrops but have a 3D feel to it because it would have like cut out art in the front. It is stunning. It is a stunning documentary, so I highly recommend it. I'll definitely rewatch it again at some point. Oh yes. And then another thing that has made this year is trying to take my reading joy, and that is that I, since the end of February, have gotten headaches from physical reading. And now we know, like, I know the cause for it. So, I'm working with people and hopefully that will go away, but it's still here. And it's just so frustrating. It really limits kind of your Victober choices. And especially, like, I want to branch out past the audiobooks and read Charlotte Mary Young, who is so inaccessible on audio. I just wanted to read some Charlotte Mary Young because I feel in this time of suffering and character formation, she would be just the ideal thing to read. But I also know, like I said, my brain right now is like, Kate, I don't really think we can handle Victorian literature. So I finally was honest with myself and I admitted that. I'm like, I've done the best that I can to, I tried, several different things, and it is what it is. But I have to say, once I was honest with myself about that and just started picking other things to enjoy, now I feel really kind of jazzed about what I'm listening to on audio and watching. So I do find I'm feeling very delicate right now. I need things that are gentle and full of warmth, but I don't want saccharine, and I don't mind some atmosphere at the same time. So it has to be this kind of magical combination. And so I have a request for those of you that think you could recommend something to me that is gentle. I don't mean that sad things never happen, but that you could still say is gentle. Like, The Yearling has some sad things happen in it, but it still feels kind of gentle and tender. It has plot, because I want things to be happening, because when I want to be distracted from chronic pain, there has to be some action happening in the story, or the writing just has to be like dynamite. Character driven, because I love to get to know characters. Something modern where the language isn't overwhelming, i.e., not Victorian. Did I say accessible on audio? And also bonus points if it is atmospheric. So knowing my reading taste, if you have something that falls into at least a couple of those categories, and the basic requirement is accessible on audio, so I would also have to like the narrator, because I've gotten really picky about narrators now, listening to so many audiobooks this year. I was already picky about narrators, and now I feel like, unfortunately, I've gotten even more picky. I would love some recommendations, because I feel that right now I need tons of whimsy in my life. I need to look at beautiful things, I need to hear beautiful things, and my mind needs to consume beautiful things, and that is going to really just help with my well-being a lot in this time. So I feel like the people that like to watch my channel are going to have some things that they would know that, oh, Kate, I think you would like this. So I would love to hear from you what you think I would like. And what was that? Okay, so I have my notes. I'm just trying to look at my notes to make sure that I don't forget anything. Now, I have to say that in the How household right now, there is much excitement about Halloween. We are all jazzed about Halloween. So my husband David he did not grow up trick-or-treating, and it is still something that like it's not fun to him to go out and do it. So he's going to stay home and hand out candy, and he really enjoys that, actually, getting to see all the neighborhood kids. I don't think we typically have kids from other neighborhoods in ours, but who knows. I'm probably just really oblivious about that. Sometimes we go to my parents to do trick-or-treating, but one of Peter's best friends, he is sometimes here for trick-or-treating and sometimes he's at his dad's, and so he's here this year, and Peter said, can we please stay this year? So we're staying this year, and he gets to go trick-or-treating with his best friend, and they are just so excited. So we went to Target yesterday, and I let them each pick out a couple bags of candy for passing out. Also, I let them trick-or-treat way too long last year, and they had so much candy. They had so much candy, and this was so funny. We realized very quickly they had so much candy. And then we said to them, they had had the candy for maybe a week and a half, I think. And I just didn't want it to be for like 6 months they were having candy with each meal. We typically let them, I think it was like 2 pieces after lunch. If you eat all your lunch, 2 pieces after supper if you eat all your supper. And I was like, they can't be doing that for 6 months. So then David said, boys, you can eat, as long as you eat your meals, you can eat all the candy you want for 3 days. And Arthur especially has a sweet tooth, and he comes back double fisting a full-size Twix, just like chowing down. So I think we've said, 1, they're not going to fill up their bags or buckets as long this time, and 2, I think they get a lot of candy for a week and then they're done. I think that's the system that we're going to work out because it was just way excessive. Each morning this week, which I'm calling Hallow Week, each morning we have watched one Halloween TV episode, which has been so much fun. We did Andy Griffith, we did the Garfield Show, we did Sabrina the Teenage Witch, the old 90s series, the good one. And then today we did an episode of The Brady Bunch. And it has been so much fun seeing these older shows. Tomorrow I would love to do, tomorrow, which is Halloween. I'm filming this the day before Halloween. I would love to do, what was it? There's a Leave It to Beaver episode where they think a house is haunted because this neighbor, they think she's a witch. So I thought that sounded fun. And we haven't done any Scooby-Doo. We haven't done any Addams Family or the Munsters. So we'll see what we watch tomorrow. But also, it's become our Halloween tradition to watch the 90s Disney Channel movie Under Wraps, where these kids accidentally awaken a mummy. And it's funny, it's scary, it's funny, it's heartwarming. That's like a great scary movie to me. We've been doing a fair amount. We have some kind of Halloween mandatory movies that we do. One is The Creature from the Black Lagoon. And Arthur loved it so much. We watched it for the first time last year. And so this year, we watched it again. And Arthur is going to be the creature from the Black Lagoon for Halloween. He's very excited about it. And then Peter, I just love this. For any of you who have followed Peter's leukemia journey, for those of you who are new, I'll just tell you that last year on September 5th, our now 11-year-old Peter was diagnosed with type B ALL leukemia. And he's doing amazingly. He has gotten through the toughest part of chemo. He's still going to be doing chemo, though, until January of 2027. So it's once every 3 months, he's going to get some real hard-hitting chemo. That's next week. And then he's taking maintenance doses and just doing really well. So we're very grateful. But in light of his past year, he decided he wants to be a doctor for Halloween, which I think is just amazing. We're just so unbelievably grateful to all the doctors and nurses and just staff who work in the hospital. I'm going to turn my car off and save the battery. Just everyone. We're so very grateful. What was I going to say? Oh, so he got, last year, he had to get an MRI and they gave him scrubs. And so he saved the scrubs. And so now he can wear the scrubs, and he's made his own little like doctor ID badge. So it's very, very fun. And I think I'll put a picture here of them dressed up in their costumes because this is going up kind of, it will be after Halloween. Then also, we did get a special Halloween puzzle. We're very into puzzles lately, and I just love this. Greg Paprocki, he has a lot of like M is for monocle, a Victorian alphabet. G is for go-go, a 1960s alphabet. They're board books, and he also has some puzzles, which I just love. I really love his art. It's got very fun colors to it. What else? Oh, we also watched for the very first time Tarantula. What a wild ride. Tarantula is, it is about a scientist it came out in the 50s, and the scientist is thinking ahead to when the world population continues to grow, and we're going to need to figure out how to feed the world. And so he gives this kind of growth hormone to animals. I think it's a growth hormone so that animals will be bigger, so there's more to go around. I think that's what it is. All to say, things go very wrong, and eventually there's a tarantula that's the size of a house. We had so much fun watching this movie, and it was horrifying in a very fun way. So it was not too scary. That's my kind of Halloween movie, especially for my boys. Like, I don't want something that's going to keep them awake at night. Then also, the boys love to watch Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. And then I listened to, with the boys, what was it? The Stitchers. So the Stitchers, I really love. I listened to it a couple years ago, and it's about this girl and her best guy friend, and they're teenagers, and in the neighborhood that they live in, the old people seem unnaturally youthful. Like something is amiss. They should not be as kind of spry and together as they are. And they need to figure out the mystery of this. Something like, what is happening? Why are they so young and unnaturally spry? And it's so much fun. Just them investigating and kind of the climax of the story and everything. But it also has some really cozy and warm parts to it, where her grandmother is a big part of the story, and she loves her grandmother. Her grandmother's always cooking her delicious things, and it's just so much fun. And then we also love Wallace and Gromit and the Whererabbit. That one is so much fun. I just love Wallace and Gromit. So the fact that there's a Halloween one is so much fun. Okay, now moving on. I've got to flip my notes over so I don't forget anything. Like I said, I am very much in need of whimsy. Oh, I know. I was going to talk about this. So Arthur, when we started out, he's now in second grade. And when we started out the school year, I really kind of went back and forth a lot about what I was going to have him read. And so I did a summer book haul where I showed all the books that I got for him. And we started off with Hank the Cowdog. And he was immediately very overwhelmed because it's written in the vernacular and just kind of hard to make heads or tails of if you're reading it slowly. So I thought, okay, well, that was a complete disaster. And it occurred to me, you know what? The Mercy Watson series by Kate DiCamillo is such a great bridge series. And then following that, there's books that are even longer, and they're called Tales from Deckawoo Drive, but they're all characters from Mercy Watson. And so we went through, and he just loved the entire Mercy Watson series. And then by the time we got to Tales from Deckawoo Drive, he had built up his reading muscle some more, and the world felt very familiar with all those characters. And so I love that he's really reading quickly now, to the point that when we sing hymns during our evening, like after dinner, we do a little bit of scripture reading, and then we sing a hymn. He's able to follow along and sing so loudly, and it's so cute. But anyhow, so right now we're reading the fourth in the series, and it's Eugenia Lincoln and the Unexpected Package. Kate DiCamillo, just nobody can write like her. She is one of a kind, and I just love this little world of Deckawoo Drive that she has created. These, Chris Van Dusen, I love that name, Van Dusen, is the illustrator, and he's just fabulous. So this is very fun. And Eugenia Lincoln, she receives this unexpected package that has an accordion. And I just know it's about the accordion, which is going to bring so much joy to her life. And it makes me so happy. So there is that. Now, like I said, I'm in need of whimsy in my life. I want lots of whimsy. And a lot of the time, my chronic pain levels are so that it's even hard for me to pay attention to an audiobook, which is so frustrating because I do love books, but over the course of the years, it's just gotten harder and harder to actually pay attention. So I do have some books to talk about that have been just the right kind of combination of things, but I am having a ton of fun watching tons of movies. And I'm doing a lot of Disney, very heavy on the Disney, and I'm very excited to watch a few Disney that I haven't seen, but also just rewatch so many good ones. And I kind of forgotten for a few years just how visually stunning they are. And even I'm so into this project that I am watching the behind the scenes feature. So like the making of, and I'll just, whatever Disney cartoon I'm going to watch that day, I watch behind the scenes, the making of, and it makes it an even more rewarding and exciting project. So I will tell you about the ones that I've watched. Firstly, I don't think this one is Disney, but I haven't seen it in ages, and I watched Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. What a film. It is wild and wonderful, and I had just forgotten how lovely it was. And Arthur, he was busy listening to an audiobook, so he did not join me for it. But Peter watched a lot of it with me, and he was very charmed by it. He really enjoyed it. So it was really nice to have his company while I was watching it. And then I finally watched, I did not see as a child. I think I was not allowed to watch it as a child, and that is The Hunchback of Notre Dame. I think my dad thought it was like very anti-church, which when I hear people review it, they talk about how it talks about how dangerous religion is. And actually, if you watch it, if you pay attention, the person who is the villain, he's not a church figure. He's a like very powerful politician and very corrupt. And actually, the priest that is a character in it is a very positive figure. I completely love The Hunchback of Notre Dame. I just went into it knowing I was not going to like it. I'm like, it's going to be too dark. It's going to be boring. I'm not going to like it. And I loved it. I was completely captivated. So I'm in that. It's weird. I'm simultaneously like, I'm feeling like I need lots of gentle things, but I'm in autumn mode. So I want that autumnal atmosphere. And so it was the perfect combination. And then I've also heard people complain, one, that it's very different than the book, which I just think books and movies are two different art forms. That's, unless it totally takes away the spirit of the novel, I don't know. I loved it so much, I don't care. I still do want to read the original of The Hunchback of Notre Dame. I know it ends very differently, blah, blah, blah. Don't care. I loved it. And also people griping about they have these silly, like, goofy, comedic gargoyles. And I think it's great because it brings some levity to a very heavy storyline. Like, there is a lot. The evil that's in Hunchback, it's next level. So I think it's perfect. Like, this is why, we can't market books that don't fall neatly into one category because people can't handle it being just like a very broad experience. Oh, I just loved it. I had no idea I was going to love it so much. And God Help the Outcasts. Good gracious, is that song beautiful? I've been playing it a lot. Oh, and I loved it so much. The boys came in for like the last half hour and they were like, I want to watch that sometime. So on Saturday, we're going to all watch it together. And I'm very excited to re-watch it. And then I watched Sleeping Beauty. I know that Aurora and Prince Philip, you don't really get to know them that well per se, but that movie is so unbelievably beautiful, just visually stunning. And I love how high stakes it feels. Again, autumnal atmosphere. Like, it just feels very, it gives a lot of atmosphere. Then Tarzan. Oh my goodness. I had so much fun. I watched that one last night, and I think possibly Jane might be my favorite Disney female. It's either her or Rapunzel or Merida from Brave, but Jane is way up there. She's a nerd, and I love that. And she's kind of manic pixie dream girl, but she's really resilient at the same time. So I love her having those very different elements to her. I just love it. Oh, Such a good one. So good. And then Lady and the Tramp. And that is there's like a cozy calm Disney category, and Lady and the Tramp is definitely that category. And it's so unbelievably low key in its plot, and it's just a delight to behold it. Then I watched Hercules. Now, my one gripe with Hercules, it's one of the first movies that they're using CGI in, and it's abundantly obvious. Any portions they use CGI in. I honestly, I love Tangled, but I would have been fine if Disney had just stayed 2D animation, hand-drawn forever. Like, forever. So I can't remember the years that between Hercules and Tarzan, because Tarzan, they definitely use computers some, but the animation just looks so much more sophisticated. But I do find the story arc of Hercules very charming. I think Meg is a little bit over the top. But it's got so many funny lines to it. So I still really like Hercules. Now, the one that I was like, this storyline is really mediocre, and that was Pocahontas. The notion of the story of Pocahontas, I love. I know it is very not historically accurate. I think the character of Pocahontas, she's wise and she's beautiful, but she's not interesting. I would love it, to be considered wise and beautiful, but I don't want to watch a movie about someone that also never cracks a joke. She's so serious. And I know she's got bad times happening. And the fact that she and John Smith, when they meet, just because of the magical connection that they have, she can just magically speak English. It's weird. It's weird. The things that Pocahontas has going for it that will make me never get rid of my DVD that I have is Meeko and Percy. I think possibly the best Disney animals. Then the color scheme, I just eat it up. It's pinks and purples and turquoise and blue. And it's so beautiful. And then also the music. The music is absolutely stunning. And I love that setting, the Virginian setting in the 1600s. But it's a bit of a flop. And I love that they were working on that, and Disney was working on that and The Lion King at the same time. And it ended up that The Lion King was their big movie, and they thought Pocahontas was going to be their big movie. They were mistaken. So yes, I am having so much fun. And when I'm watching, I put my phone over where I cannot reach it, and I just get lost in the movie. And I have so much more fun when I do that, when I do one thing at a time. Also, I meant to say that for tonight, I'm going to be watching with my friend Morgan the Joan Fontaine, Orson Welles, Jane Eyre. I've never experienced anything Orson Welles, so I'm going in blind. I'm very excited. But then I was thinking, well, I'm watching Joan Fontaine tonight, and what would be the coolest movie ever to watch on Halloween? And that is Hitchcock's Rebecca with Joan Fontaine. So I'm very excited that I'll be watching that tomorrow night. So I'm trying to, in the midst of suffering, I'm trying to find things that spark joy. And so movies, they're one of the things that I can still enjoy. Now, as far as audiobooks go, I do feel like I'm in a good place. I have a whole list for November that I'm excited about, but I will not verbalize it, because the second that I verbalize it, it will feel like a task, and I'll feel like, I don't know, was I actually excited about those? So I'm going to zip the lip about potential reads and just tell you about either what I have read or what I am reading and enjoying. And firstly, I did mention in my Victober check-in video, A Severe Mercy by Sheldon Vanauken. And good gracious, I am buddy reading that with Terry. I did have to jump ahead of her because my library audiobook was expiring. It just was even better than I remembered. And I love that it doesn't make light of grief or try to minimize it, but it puts it in a redemptive perspective. And right now, with how I am very sick in body, I just feel like it's a severe mercy that's happening to me. So it felt just like such a medicinal read to be reading and to really keep things in the right perspective. And then I am listening to a biography by Darlene, I think it's Darlene Deibler Rose, called Evidence Not Seen. This story is wild. She was serving as a missionary in Papua New Guinea during World War II. And the Japanese eventually occupied Papua New Guinea, and she became a prisoner of war. And so a lot of the story is about her being a prisoner of war. And my dad had recommended this book to me years ago. And so I love her writing style. It's so captivating. And also the narrator, her voice is so unique. I really love it. She sounds maybe a little bit like the narrator of the Witch of Blackbird Pond audiobook, which, maybe I want to read that at some point this winter. I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. But it's an amazing story, and just there's so much of her kind of spiritual growth and observations that she includes in there, so it just feels so nourishing to read. And there's one story where she gets the insatiable craving for a banana, and she starts praying for a banana, and several days go by, no banana, and she says, Lord, why couldn't you give me this one banana? And then a few more days go by, and she's so upset she didn't get her banana. And then an officer makes a delivery, and he chucks in the cell a bunch of 93 bananas. So it's just really, really captivating. It is it has some very, very hard, sad parts. She's immediately when she is taken as a prisoner, they separate the men and the women. She's separated from her husband, and she never sees him again. So it definitely has some harrowing moments, but it's very much from a looked at with a redemptive perspective, so it doesn't feel too harsh. And I am finally picking up the next in my presidential biography series. So I am up to James K. Polk. I think maybe it's possible I read 2 presidential biographies when I wasn't making videos. And they're the real short ones, because now I'm up to the presidents where if you're further, they're far enough into the presidency that it's not people all excited about the birth of the nation and wanting to write super lengthy biographies about that. But we're not to the Civil War when people are super fascinated by the presidents then. But James K. Polk, because he was like very tight with Andrew Jackson, I think people find him fascinating. And also it says he transformed the presidency, because the tagline is Polk, the man who transformed the presidency and America, by Walter R. Borneman. Another great narrator. He's very like, America. That's the only way I know how to describe him. So going forward with my channel, I think what will spark joy the most for me is doing Saturday book musings. This doing all the Victober videos that I did. They did at times, it felt very therapeutic to film and just think about things besides the physical symptoms I was experiencing. But they also are really tiring to sit down and edit. I think I'm toying with like putting pictures of books and things in these videos. Maybe it will just depend on the week. But I think if people don't like it and they unsubscribe, that's totally okay with me. I totally get it if it's not your thing. And then that means that the people that do stay and watch, they're truly enjoying it. So I realize this content is kind of niche, very long form videos. I think the people that do watch it, they just treat it like a podcast. So I think as much as I can, I would like to continue doing Saturday book musings while I'm in this stage with my health. Now, I do know it's a possibility. I have certain procedures and things that in the future where I would need to take more time off, and I'll just do that. So it's just going to be very low pressure. When I can do a Saturday book musings, great. I think I kind of psyched myself out this summer like I hadn't done one for a while, and I really dislike how easy it is to feel rusty when you haven't filmed in a while. I find that it's so silly. Like you just sit down in front of a camera, but When you haven't been doing it for a while, it just feels unnatural very quickly. I think that is the plan, and I feel really good about it. I'm sorry if I keep looking away. I want to check the time. So my sister is just the greatest. She lives only 10 minutes away, and she has 3 little girls. And because my head hurts when I read, one of the things she offered to do for me this school year, I mean, I can read in little chunks. But one of the things she offered to do for me this school year is to do science with the boys. I have a science curriculum that I love so much. It's so frustrating to not be able to physically read. It's science through a history lens. So this year it was going to be science in the age of reason. And it has a science experiment for each lesson, which normally I would think was overwhelming, but they're very low maintenance projects, experiments that are just easy to execute. So I just, I'm really grateful to her that so she is doing science with the boys right now, and she's incorporating her girls too, and so I want to make sure I'm not late to go pick them up because she's doing me a huge favor. Okay, I had a total of 20 DVDs that I put on hold, and I'm like, you know what, it is what it is, because I'm so excited about this whimsical movie project. And I'll just get started showing you. I got Frozen 2. I have to say, if you are sleeping on Frozen 2 and you are at all a Disney fan, I would try it. I'm just totally, I could never watch Frozen again and I would be fine. I didn't even watch it a ton, but it's just so in popular culture that made me tired of it. But Frozen 2 is amazing. I watched it last year. It lived rent-free in my head for a year. Then I watched it again a couple weeks ago, and now I'm just like, I have to watch it another time. I have to. So, watching Frozen. Not at all cartoonish, but Yentl. Oh, it's been so long since I have seen Yentl. Oh my goodness. So, I want to watch Yentl again. Then we have here The Mighty Ducks. It's been a very long time since I've seen The Mighty Ducks. This is one I think I could talk the boys into watching with me. Okay, I'm nervous about this one. I'm determined that I will be the unusual Disney fan and I will enjoy Home on the Range. I hear nothing but terrible things about it. I've just decided I'm going to like it. I have no idea if that's the case. We're going to wait and we're going to see. I don't know if I have ever seen Oliver and Company. I'm just not sure if I have seen it. So I'll be very curious about that one. Not at all Disney, but Adventures in Babysitting. Another like very iconic, is it 80s? I think it's 80s. 1987 movie. Definitely will be watching this with the boys. I feel like 80s movies, some of them are just so inappropriate for kids. So I'll be watching this on my own, but it seems like one I could enjoy. I feel like people that love it just super duper love it. And then I am so excited to watch the original Muppet movie. I think I've seen this. I can't remember if I have or not. And then the stack continues. Next we have, it's been absolute ages. I grew up watching this and loving it. Fantasia. Look how beautiful that is. Oh goodness. I'm excited about that. This is a crummy Disney movie that I love. This is a hill I will die on. The Black Cauldron. It got me to read The Book of Three by Lloyd Alexander, and I loved it. Also, that reminded me then that this winter, I think I want to just try to go through the whole series on audio. I've already kind of forgotten what happened in The Book of Three, though, so I'm just going to start over. Okay, one I have not seen. Coco. I hear very good things about this one. So, we're going to see what I think of it. Stuart Little. This one's very cozy. I watched it not this middle grade March, but middle grade March of 2024 after doing it as a read aloud with the boys. And very, very cozy film. A Pixar I haven't seen, but hear wonderful things about Turning Red. I'm just very skeptical about the newer ones, but I want to at least try it and see what I think. Okay, really, just throwback. Bedknobs and Broomsticks. I remember watching and loving this as a child. We will see if it holds up. Encanto. I'm already nostalgic about this, even though it's so recent, because David and I, we took the boys to go see it in the movie theater. We really, as a family of 4, we do not go see movies in the movie theater very often. And especially after Peter got sick, we haven't been to the movie theater since he got sick. So we definitely feel like his immune system is strong enough now that we could do that, but we just haven't done it yet. The Wizard of Oz definitely fulfills the whimsy category. And then, oh my goodness, just love of my life, Kiki's Delivery Service. I love this one so much. I typically watch it in the springtime, but I'm like, I need to watch it. I need to be consoled by Kiki's Delivery Service. The Jungle Book. Very excited about that one. It's been a long time since I watched that. And then here we have an older one I had not heard of, and I saw people talking about it on Reddit. So hopefully this DVD isn't super scratched up. And that is Candle Shoe. And that is very young Jodie Foster. Wild. And then here we have the Apple Dumpling Gang. Never seen this one. Anything with Don Knotts, though, I can totally get behind. Okay, there is by DK Books, there is an anthology series, and they are the most beautiful books. And I just read with the boys The Wonders of Nature. And this book is newly released, so I felt so excited we were able to get our hands on a copy. And it is an anthology of remarkable bugs. I used to love bugs as a kid. I was really into them. And now I'm scared about actually, I don't want bugs near me, but I still like to, learn about them because I find them really interesting. I mean, look at this, glasswing butterfly. Now, what's really great is there is really not that much print on a page. So this is an amount I can read a couple of these pages in a morning to the boys, and it does not give me a headache. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Look at this snail. So I think this will be such a treat to go through with the boys. Whoa, there's some crazy grasshoppers. So yes, that will be really, really fun. Very excited. I keep looking at all the pictures. I need to look at those later on. So before I close out, what time is it? I just want to make sure I'm doing good for time. Okay, I have 7 minutes. Like I said, this has been a time of amazing spiritual growth. And I had gotten to just such a unbelievable low point. I felt forgotten, and I felt that my life was over. And I think people feel very cautious about what they want to say to you when you're going through a period of suffering. And they don't want to sound trite. And so I definitely appreciate that. But I so appreciated one friend who met with me, and she said, I don't know what it's like to be living in your body and experiencing regular symptoms that you are experiencing. But I do know 2 things that have comforted me in my times of suffering. And that is God is good and God is sovereign. And I think I had almost started to think that it was a mistake, that this had happened to me. It was something that had happened by accident. And you think, how on earth could that be comforting? But when you can really trust and hold on to the fact that anything that happens in your life is for your good, it is for your good, you will not understand why everything happens to you. You have to be content to sit in mystery. You're not going to get all the answers. You can really, right now through this, and I'm getting emotional just thinking about it, he is doing a good work in me right now. It is not by accident that this has happened. Growth is so painful. It's so painful. Would I have ever chosen this for myself? No. Never. Not in a million years. It's terrible. It's terrible. I want it taken away so badly. But I also know somehow, some way, God is going to redeem this. He is going to redeem this. And I mean, there is the verse in scripture that says Jesus wept. Like, he is sad. He is grieved when we are sad. He is sad at the suffering and trials that we have to go through this side of the veil. And we can drink from the living waters through scripture. And just in this time, it has been amazing to have people in my corner praying for me and to read scripture, mostly through audio. My Glenn Stahl prayer book has just been so life-giving. Listening to worship music. I'm going to link in the description. There is a version of Psalm 46 that I just happened upon by Shane and Shane. I just feel like it's like my life song right now. It is so fortifying. And also listening to a lot of sermons and podcasts. Is it Life with Sally? It used to be At Home with Sally. I think it's called Life with Sally now. Sally Clarkson has been in ministry for decades and decades and just has the sweetest spirit about her, and so blessed by her. And just she talks a lot about, she calls it the storms of life. Also Revive Our Hearts, which is a really, really wonderful kind of women's ministry. And then also Brian, I think his last name is Sauve, but he has a church in Utah called Refuge Church. And I just started listening he's doing a series on Hebrews, and I wanted Hebrews to be kind of a book that I was really going to dig into this year. And then once I started getting the headaches with reading, that really threw that project off. But gradually I've started, listening to it on audio, and we did it in family devotions in the evening. And so I'm like, Hebrews is still my book this year. It can still be my book. And so through all those things, all those means of grace, I find that I am not drowning. Boy, I sure won't be mad if things get easier and things improve. And, really unraveling the mystery of my maladies. So I hope this is encouraging. Also, I did want to kind of speak more openly because I hope this is really encouraging to anyone that is going through, has burdens of some sort. And I had started seeing a chronic illness therapist, and I stopped seeing her because she, without ever actually saying it, made me feel like I didn't have enough faith, and that's why I was still sick. And I thought, I have no time for you. Like, it really messed with me. So now I'm like, no, I'm just going to hunker down. I'm going to surrender it to the Lord. Please, please heal me. I trust you. Whatever brings you the most glory, Lord. And it has not been easy to get there. Like I said, I was in a really, really dark spot this summer and into the fall. So here we are now, not better in body, but much better in spirit. And that's the more important thing. Okay. This has been a very lengthy, comeback episode of Saturday Book Musings. So I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you are well. If you are still here this long, more power to you. And I will just reiterate, I would love book recommendations to get me through this season. I need ways to pass the time and hopefully pass them with joy. So thank you all, and I will be back for another Saturday Book Musings, hopefully soon. Bye.